Good to go. Welcome everybody to your first real episode. We got the pilot out of the way. So this is our first real episode. Good morning. This is what we're expecting you to hear on your Monday, Wednesday, Friday, probably. We want to kind of be your source of quick hitting facts or a little recap of the weekend, a little preview of the weekend, anything else crazy happening. But again, it's AJ and Dane here. We're here to talk sports.
Welcome back.
Yeah, that's it. We're excited to see what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump right in because we want to keep these morning shows a little quicker. This one might run a little over being our first one. You guys saw how our pilot episode took 3 takes and 2 episodes and a couple of different posts, but we are hoping to keep this a little more quick and kind of to the point. We want our personalities to show. We want to have fun with it, but our live streams and things like that is going to be where we really kind of lay back and get into it. But for these morning shows, we want to get everybody some recaps. We know everyone's busy. People are on their way to work. You're getting kids ready. So you're ready for school, whatever it may be. We want to give you kind of a source for the quick hitting information, but with a little spin on it. So,
Absolutely.
that being said, I'm going to let AJ dive right into some college football.
Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, good morning, everybody. We had a honestly not that exciting weekend in college football. There were only a few big games and really one major upset. So we picked
I'll
out
take that if you want me to.
yeah, we picked out the four games that we thought were important. The big one being the number three Texas versus number 10 Michigan. Uh, my heart hurts having to say this, but look, the better team won.
Yeah,
Um, Michigan lost. Out of the 22 starters, 18 of them were drafted into the NFL. Or I should say, not drafted, but picked up into the NFL.
yeah.
So, um,
I was gonna say I feel like 10 was like high for Michigan this year. Like
I
that was
agree.
hopeful. Like no
Yeah.
Harbaugh, no JJ, no defense. Like I felt like that was hopeful. And so again,
Uh,
like we talked about in our pilot, I'm supporting Michigan on behalf of you. I just felt like this was a trap game. Like
I
ten
agree.
three, you're expecting a little more. And I felt like this was unfair for Michigan to put them at 10 just because they won last year. Like they
Yeah.
should almost be unranked. And then losing 31-12 is a little bit easier to swallow. But
Yeah.
31-12 as a 10 seed, that's tough.
Yeah. And look, the better team won. Um, Texas kind of reminds me of us from last year. They had a lot of guys
Yes.
come back. They were in the Final Four. They lost to Washington. 2 years prior to that, we lost to Georgia. So, um, or
I
TCU and then Georgia before that. So they have
I
that
like
experience.
I like Quinn. I like Quinn Ewers. If you're in
Yeah,
that QB position, you leave Ohio State, you show up in Texas, and you have Archie Manning as your backup.
yeah,
Like, no matter what anybody says, Peyton and Eli and Cooper have pull in the leagues. Like they can make things happen. So for
yeah,
Archie to go there, like the kid earned it himself, no doubt there. But like the kid could have a starting role pretty much anywhere in the country. So for the Texas coach to go, nah, Quinn Ewers is our guy. I was
yeah.
like, damn, dude, like
Yeah,
I'm
Steve
excited to
Sarkisian.
see how he plays today. And like he was very clean. Like what did he have? 246 and 3 touchdowns. Like
Yeah,
he was that was again. I know we don't want to. I don't want to twist the knife any for you,
no,
but like he
we
was
deserve
clean
it.
looking today. And again, yeah, that's yeah. I think Michigan like they played well for what they have. I think
Yes, who they
the
are right now.
expectations were way too high. Like I
Yeah,
felt like everyone was just like 10 seed was crazy. I felt like they should have been unranked. It should have been a prove it year, a rebuilding year. Like there was no expectation of
yeah,
return to the championship. Like that's wild. So,
yes.
but yeah,
No, I
so
completely agree with you. It is kind of what it is. The game came out. The only thing I will say, and I think we should move on after I say this, is
he's like,
I
yeah,
I
yeah,
really respected Texas. I really did.
yes,
I still
it was
do.
yes,
I should say I did respect Texas.
yes.
But planting the flag in Michigan Stadium, I, d- I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to
I
me.
never have. I
I
never care like to care
yeah
that much about it. Like even back to the To Cowboy days. Like it's just like who cares? Like why are you
yeah
fighting? Who cares? Like
yeah. I
win
don't
the
know.
game,
Right.
win
Yeah,
the
they
game,
did.
and then do
They
it.
won
Yeah.
the game. I mean, they
Like
planted
that's
it
it. That's
after the game,
enough. That's
but
enough.
yeah,
That's
I don't
enough.
know. It was
Like what do
just
you?
a weird flex, I guess is what the kids call it nowadays.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I just
I
always see
know.
Baker doing it in my head
Yeah,
with the Oklahoma flag, and I'm just
yeah, he
like,
did it at Ohio
as
State.
much as I love Baker now, I'm just like, that was so dumb. Like,
Yeah,
just you won, you get the last laugh. Like adding that in then creates like this attention that's not on the game. It's on, oh, he planted the flag. And
yeah,
so it's like, yeah, like you're talking about that now instead of, oh shit, we got whooped by Texas. It's like, oh, the flag is the issue. And it's like we draw too much attention to it. And yeah, it's take your dub, head on home, get back to Texas.
yeah,
Like Michigan's probably gonna be like 40, 50 degrees this week. Texas is gonna be like 80. Like take your win and go home and be happy about it. Like just go relax.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Moving on, Alabama struggled
I was excited.
versus USF down there.
Yes, that's that was an interesting thing to see. Cause again, same thing with Michigan, where like everyone's like, "Well, it's Alabama. They're gonna go to the playoffs," and it's like, yeah, but like no Saban, like that has to have
Yeah,
a lasting, like that's got to have some kind of immediate impact and some kind of effect. So I was excited to see that. I kept checking the score. I was watching the Michigan Texas game, and I kept checking that Alabama score, and I was like, dude, they're like close. And then the fourth quarter,
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I didn't watch the game. Full transparency. But yeah, took Alabama 4 quarters, and I guess that's why they play all 4 quarters. But
it's
USF
gonna be a
hung in
long
there.
season, as we say here.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure
It's
it
gonna be a
will.
long season. It's gonna be a long game.
Uh,
But yeah, that was But yeah, Alabama cleaned up as usual, 42-16 in
yeah,
Alabama over South Florida. But
yeah,
yeah, rolling right along there. I want to skip the good one. I want to
yeah.
jump down to a
I agree.
local one. Let's jump down to our family and friends. You're up in
Yeah,
Lock Haven. You're near Penn State. I'm here in Mechanicsburg, Carlisle. We know everyone. 90% of the people we went to school with are either Eagles, Steelers fans and or Penn State fans. That's
yeah,
just how the cookie crumbles.
yeah.
Penn State was an interesting one this week.
That was an interesting game.
Yeah, like
You
that. That
would,
was another one.
I think we all expected them to kind of blow Bowling Green out, right?
Yeah.
First home
Yes.
game of the season.
Yep.
Um, I know Beaver Stadium was rocking. I've been there. I live
Yes.
right down the road, as you mentioned. Plenty of traffic to be had. And yeah, I don't know.
See,
It's not that
it
they
being
looked
that
bad.
close is
It was
unsettling.
just,
It shouldn't be that close.
yeah,
Like that's it.
why?
Like no way is Bowling Green that good. It means Penn State was playing that poorly, and that's kind
Yeah.
of how like the Alabama game was. Like
I
USF, like good to them, kudos to them, but like they were not killing it.
I
Alabama
think
was just not getting it going.
Yeah, I think all of my Penn State fans listening will agree with me on this that that is the mantra of James Franklin. You played a competition. Um, if it's
Yep,
up, you play up. If it's down, you play down. Now
true.
you
Yeah,
do typically win the games you're supposed to win, and
you hope.
the same side of that coin, you lose the games you're supposed to lose.
Yeah,
It's I know a lot of Penn State fans are not happy with James Franklin. I don't
yeah.
know if he's on the hot seat.
I am. I'm glad you said that because I was gonna make that comment where it's odd, and I'm picking two things ahead a little bit here, but him being on the hot seat feels a little bit like Nick Sirianni, where it's like they haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong, but they have the team and they have the hype and they have the aura and the locker room that they should be getting it done. So just
yeah.
why aren't they able to do that? Nobody's looking at the whole team to just be like, all right, let's scrap it and restart. You look at the GM, you look at the head coach, and be like,
Yeah,
all right, the motivators are the issue. And like James Franklin has been getting it done, but has not been in the college football
is
playoffs. So
third in the
has
Big
he?
Ten getting it done.
Yes, yeah, like yeah,
Because look,
yeah.
USC, Oregon, UCLA joining,
That's crazy.
you could very easily go from being third or fourth in the Big Ten every year to now you're looking at 6 to 8.
Yes. Yep.
And I'm
We won't get into that right now.
yeah
But Big Ten being 18 teams.
yeah I think this year he has a lot to prove. He's got the returning quarterback. You've got I think they still have both running backs, although I'm not 100% positive on that.
I think so. Yeah, I think
So
that was
if
something
you
like
have
that.
that duo in the backfield, you got a lot of guys returning. Um, this could be a year for Penn State. Oregon didn't look great. USC doesn't look great. So there's a reasonable and look, we all know Ohio State just paid their players. So like
Ryan Day is sick of
I
losing to Michigan. He said, "I don't care what it
yeah,
takes."
I mean
There's a
the whole fan base is the alumni because they gave them the I don't even know how much money they spent on players this year, but that transfer
yeah.
portal, I felt like everybody was going to Ohio State. They're like, "How much money you want?" Yep, okay,
I
here you
think
go.
I will say that's yeah, because again, you're a Michigan diehard, so you're biased on Ohio State. I will say they're probably like the least favorite, but looking at it unbiased, I will say that they probably now are what's looked at as the NFL factory. It was Alabama because Saban was
Yeah,
there for the longest
it
time, and
was.
now regardless of Ryan Day, if they switch him in or out, I think Ohio State still has that presence where Urban Meyer was there, LeBron's on the sideline, like you have that atmosphere
It's
where you're probably going to go to the league if you can catch some balls or run the ball. Like
it's so funny you
you have
bring
a
that
good
up. I
shot.
saw a stat today that Ohio State wide receivers in the NFL this weekend had like 12 catches for 100 something yards combined.
Yeah, that's
Every wide receiver they have in the league had,
that's
I
rough.
think, I think the highest was like 5 receptions for 70 yards or something like that.
But you're playing a little bit of survival statistics there because how many
Sure.
receivers did Buffalo have in the league? How many receivers did Boise State have
No,
in the
no, no.
league? So when you start
Absolutely.
comparing those numbers, it's like,
I'm
all right,
I'm a
yeah,
homer. Yeah.
5 catches for 100 yards is still pretty good compared to 0, 0, 0, 0.
All
But
right.
no, yeah, I agree. I do have a little bit like that. Again, we're human. That's my slight bias in college football. Is like I'm always going to root against Ohio State. Like I don't think
Yeah.
there's any team that I would pick over them, but I don't hate them. But I'm not going to pick any team over them. If
Yeah.
Ohio State's playing anyone, I want it to be a good game, but I want them to lose.
Sure.
But
All right.
so
Moving
yeah, that
on
was one.
to this has to be upset of potentially the decade.
Yeah,
The only thing that comes to mind is again, twist that knife. App State beating Michigan. Um, and at this point, that was over 10 years ago. I don't know how
yeah,
many.
and
I
and
choose to
even that,
forget that. So,
yeah, even that just felt like such a weird fumble. Like I
yeah,
mean,
the block kick. Yeah.
I would honestly put like the 16 seed beating Virginia. Like that's probably got to
Who
be
was that? The Golden Retrievers.
so- something silly. They had
Something
some
of
weird white
Maryland. They're out of Maryland.
accountant
University
slash
of
insurance
Maryland.
salesman playing for them. That was a crazy shooting guard. That's how it
Yeah.
always happens. But yeah, you're right though.
UMBC.
This was a wild
Yeah.
upset.
For what you,
Seeing
we haven't mentioned it yet. Northern Illinois, unranked, gets paid $1.4 million to travel to South Bend, Indiana, and proceeds to beat Notre Dame,
in what
16 to
should be
14.
a gimme game. Notre Dame
Yes.
paid them that money. Let's be clear for anybody
Yes.
that doesn't know, because I'm learning this stuff as I go with college football and how it works in the schedule building. And as much as I hate it and don't agree, I'm learning it. And yeah, Notre Dame basically pays them and says, "Hey, we only need so many good wins on our resume for the algorithm to get into the playoff. Blah blah blah. Let's fill the rest of the games with some bullshit." And by doing that, they say, "Let's call a bunch of garbage nobody schools, pay them a
Yep.
bunch of money that they can't even fathom, that they can rebuild gyms, they can give out free tuition, they can give out scholarships, like
Yeah.
changing the lives of other universities." And it's chump change for Notre Dame. It's
Right.
one booster writing a simple personal check for 1.4 million.
Yeah.
No big deal for a Saturday. Let's run the score up 70 to nothing. And all of a sudden they lose the game. So
Yeah.
yeah, that for Northern and like that is what I love too, is like seeing the coach talking about the game afterwards. Like that's where like when people are like sports are rigged, I'm like, dude, like those are real people. Like
Yeah, that's
those
real
kids in there,
emotions.
like those
Yeah.
are real. Like that's hard. Like you don't
Those
have
kids went
actors.
back to campus and partied their asses off. That's what I
You
know.
can't imagine that campus today. Like
Yeah.
those kids being like, "Oh, we play Notre Dame. We're gonna get murdered, but this weekend's gonna be fun." And then that bus pulling in and they
Yeah.
won. Like that, yeah. I
I
cannot
don't
even
know.
imagine the like aura around the football players for that week where they're rolling from class to class, and it's just like we fucking won the game this week, dude. Like that's basically an NFL team, and we beat
Okay.
them this week.
Fall 2022, they had an enrollment of basically 11,500. So I there's a
That's like
lot that
three.
goes into that.
That's
So
like three of our high schools.
yeah.
Like that's like that's nothing. Notre Dame could be a small city themselves, and
Oh yeah.
Northern Illinois was
I
basically a couple of high
suspect
schools
they
put
probably
together.
have their own zip code like most big
Yeah,
campuses.
100%. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They have their own mailbox. They have their own pen. They have their own U.S. postal code. The USPS. They have office and everything.
Yeah.
Like yeah, it's probably legitimate. But yeah, so good for Northern Illinois. Shout
Yes,
out to
props to
y'all.
them.
That's yeah. I
Sorry,
know you
Notre
guys are
Dame.
gonna.
I know what it feels like.
This is that tell your grandkids story. Like I'm
Yeah.
excited for them to just be like, we beat Notre Dame. Like
Yeah,
it's
right.
basically an NFL team and we were a middle school team. Like
Yeah.
that's we beat them.
All right,
But
moving
yeah,
on
I mean, yeah,
here.
yep.
We're
So
now
other than
halfway
that,
through our hopeful podcast, and
yep.
so you want to start with Thursday night or just go straight to Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could touch real quickly on Thursday night. There's really
Thursday,
not a
Friday
lot to
night,
talk
yeah,
about. Yeah,
yeah.
like
I think.
I'll go ahead.
Go ahead, take Thursday night, and then I can talk
I'll
to
see. I'll
Friday night.
take Thursday. You take Friday real quick. Says Friday's your preferred. But yeah, Thursday night, solid game. Lovely
It's a
day
great
to
game.
open the season. Great weather that day we had here in central Pennsylvania. It was a nice crisp fall evening. But yeah, you get a good game. The Ravens playing in Kansas City against the Chiefs ends on a wild almost touchdown pass. Third down, Lamar misses a wide open pass for a touchdown that would have tied it. They lost 27-20. Fourth down throws in Isaiah Likely, tied the new tight end, the rookie tight end touchdown. His toe, like his big toe, was out. If he would have twisted his foot just a little, it's a
Yeah,
touchdown. They said they were going for two, but like even if they kicked it, we're going to overtime. Like it
yeah.
was a good game. Of course, the
I think
Ravens
that's all
probably
you
would have
can ask
wanted to
for in
win
the
that.
opening. It's a good game,
Yeah,
and it was
for as a
that.
fan, great game. As a
Yeah,
Ravens fan, you did really well. You lost to the reigning Super Bowl champs. As the Chiefs, your fans, you're looking at a repeat of a Super Bowl. So yeah, they're just kind of rocking on that. But yeah, Patty Mahomes almost 300 yards. Lamar carried it 16 times for 122, and then the rookie Isaiah Likely, 9 receptions, 111 yards, and one touchdown, completely outplaying Mark Andrews. And that has been the fantasy news of the week. That
yeah.
Mark Andrews has basically retired from the NFL and didn't play this week.
Should have,
So
please.
yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, we'll roll right on then to Friday down in
Yeah,
Brazil with AJ's
yeah.
game.
Friday night, Eagles took down the Packers 34-29. Saquon Barkley, first game as an Eagle, makes the Giants look silly. Yeah, 3 touchdowns, one receiving, 2 rushing. Had 109 yards on like 20 something carries. Only a few receptions, but the one was a touchdown. So um, I think the big line coming out of this game is Jordan Love's health. Um, we are a few days after now, so we know that he is healthy. Nothing tore, just strains and sprains, I suppose. So hopefully he has a speedy recovery because they are my pick to win the division, and I think they can still do that. That division's strong enough that I think they end up beating up on each other, and hopefully they get the win. So
Yep. I want
nice to
to
start with
touch
a W.
super quickly on that because I'll let you do your own game. But I would encourage anyone who has never done it before, Google the structure of the knee, the MCL, the ACL,
Yeah,
the meniscus, like whatever. Like it's interesting to see how it all puts together. So when you see these things pop up, you have like a little bit of a perspective on what happened, why it happened, how they're going to fix it, why some recoveries take longer,
yeah,
why Adrian Peterson is an absolute freak show for coming back and running how he did with no ACL. Like stuff like that. Like you get a little bit more of appreciation where I just used to just read them and be like, something medical. And now I read it and go, wow, left side like detached from right bone. Like you kind of have an idea.
yeah.
But yeah, so that was a solid
I
game
agree.
though. Love that. We had a Thursday night game, a Friday night game, Saturday college football, Sunday NFL, Monday night game, like 5 days in a row. It was great.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I'll take
comes to
away
an
the
end.
yeah, it's such a sad day. Tuesday's such a dreadful day. But yeah, first game I have up here on the scoreboard that we're looking at, the Steelers beating the Falcons was a rough day.
A
Everyone was
rough
high
game
on
to
the Falcons.
watch.
Yeah, rough game to watch. It really was. It was one where I was trying to avoid it. And I don't think I put the audio on that game. I had the YouTube TV set up. Shout out YouTube TV sponsor us. I had the setup where it was the 4 games on the screen, and me and Kevin were watching it. And I was like, I don't think I put the Steelers Falcons audio on once because I just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like I was rolling through the other games. I was like, that one just didn't do it.
Oh, they
But
kicked another field goal. Oh, they kicked
yeah,
another
yeah.
field
Matt
goal.
Boswell, however many for however many. Yeah, like so big news out of that game was Russell Wilson, who me as a Broncos fan were paying him all this money this year to play in Pittsburgh, and he decided 5 minutes before the game that his leg was a little sore, so he was going to sit. Justin Fields gets the start, doesn't look phenomenal, but doesn't look terrible. So now there's this weird
Yeah.
split of the team, I'm sure. Najee Harris looks like a grown ass fucking man. That dude looks like a Derrick Henry 2.0. Only had 20 carries for 70 yards, but I believe he had a couple catches as well. He just has some moves where like he pushes grown ass men off of him and is just still running. And it's like
Peter
that.
Schrager's angry runs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like dude, like you gotta have some fucking dog in you to
Yeah.
push another grown ass professional athlete off of you and just keep running like nothing happened. Like
Yeah.
just keep on trucking. So like to see that George Pickens didn't I don't think do anything too wild this weekend. Like again, they
Had
kicked
some
pretty
nice
much all
catches.
field goals.
Yeah.
Couple nice catches, but nothing too crazy. That's yeah, they had that. But
Yeah.
um, Kirk Cousins had 2 picks. Looked a little rough, but I mean he was
Yeah.
hurt all last year, so like he's
Back
gonna
to that knee.
he's gonna have a little bit of rust. But yeah, I'm
He's
still
old
still
too.
high on the Falcons, still low on the Steelers. I still think the
Yeah.
Steelers start to fumble it away. I think QB animosity and everything else tears them apart. I think the Falcons get it together. I will
Yeah.
keep it for you.
Yeah, I think that was a good way to put it. The Steelers had a good start. Falcons had a bad start. Steelers took advantage. Steelers fans, I hate to break it to you though, you're gonna need to score more than 3 points. And
At a time.
I think Dane could probably speak to this better than I, but I don't know that Russell Wilson's gonna do that for you. So
He is not. He is not.
we'll see what happens. For those of you
Bronco
that
country.
drafted
Let's ride.
Chris Boswell, congrats, because he may be your fantasy winner based on the number of kicks they're kicking.
Winner who hasn't been our league.
Yeah, I don't
Interesting.
know. Moving on, next game I have is the Arizona Cardinals at the Bills. This was a fascinating game. The Bills did end up winning 34-28, although very early the Bills found themselves down 17-3 to Mr. Krabs, otherwise known as Kyler Murray, running around the field,
AKA
or
Angry Toddler
the toddler with a cell phone. Um, it
in the
was
Call of Duty account.
yeah, it was a good game. Um, I think the final reflected what we all expected. Our survival pool kind of showed that. There are a few that took Buffalo. I believe you were one of them, actually.
I was one of them. I
Yeah.
was nervous. Did not trust the Bengals, and I also just like wanted to go against the grain a little bit. And I was like, oh, I'll be a little risque, and I'll go.
Yeah.
I want to go the next best team. I want to save the Bengals when they play a worse team. And like,
Yeah.
I picked the Bills. And I saw it was like, yeah, 17-3, and I was like, oh my god, what are we doing?
Yeah. I think the takeaway from this is again the Bills' offense is Josh Allen.
Yeah, if he's
They don't
well, they're
have
winning.
they have
Yeah,
some receivers, nobody really big name. Same with running backs and everybody on the defense. They're just kind of all average players, average to above average players that play well together. I guess that's a great thing, but are you really ready to roll with Josh Allen again for the entire season?
yeah. And
We've played this back year
And
after
that's
year
I don't
after
even know
year,
that
and
it's
we're
Josh
just
Allen,
not
but like
changing
you said,
things.
it's just him. So like you
Yeah,
roll into Kansas City, you roll into Miami, you're rolling into a hot like Baltimore team. Like you're not getting out of there.
yeah,
And if you do, you are fighting for your life, and you're not ready for that next week because you're
yeah,
fighting for scraps against Baltimore to go into KC the next week. Like no shot.
yeah,
Like you don't have momentum when you're depleted. So
yeah.
but yeah, that was a solid game to watch. That was a little nerve wracking again. Kyler, the angry toddler. I know that he's a grown ass man. He'd whoop my ass for calling him that, but it is funny as hell to watch him run around and miss Marvin Harrison Jr. Poor Marvin Harrison Jr. I will say that
Yeah,
too.
I'm so
Wide
bad.
open on a couple of routes, had 1.4 fantasy points or whatever. Like that was a
Yeah,
rough outing.
yeah,
But
that happens.
yeah, moving along though. Another
Yep.
good game that we had where it looked to be a blowout and then it started to turn around. Titans were up 17-0 on the Bears.
Yeah.
So it was Caleb Williams' debut. Painted nails, the Bears, number 18. I don't have a problem with it. I like it. Do you, boo? It
Yeah.
gives me Dennis Rodman vibes, but half the size.
Yeah, for sure.
Weighs a little less aggressive, a little less scary, but still, I'm with Caleb Williams. I think I like him. I think he's going to be solid. I somehow feel like the Bears fucked that up and end up trading him somewhere else, though, like a Justin Fields situation. Like I feel like Caleb
I
goes and
couldn't
saves
agree more.
someone else because I feel like the Bears are just destined to screw it up. But
Yeah.
they did pull this together. They had 2 offensive points and 22 special teams points and defensive points. So Caleb had 2 points today
Yeah.
or 2 days ago. But yeah, so they ended up beating Titans though. The Titans that was expected. Will Levis had an interception that just
You can't throw
what
that
the hell are
ball.
you doing? You
Yeah.
can't throw that ball. And if you do throw that
This is
ball,
not college.
at least get up and pretend to chase
Yeah.
him. Like I know you're not tackling him, but like get up and jog, dog. Like
Yeah.
put a hand on someone, dude. Don't just sit there on the ground with your knees on your hands on your head. Like if you want to try out for an OnlyFans, go for it. But like you need to get up, get off your knees, try to get a tackle. Like he threw that and literally just sat there, and I was like, yeah, that's a long season for a mayo eating kind of guy like that.
Yeah,
Tony Pollard did look nice though.
he
That's
did.
that's a
Yeah,
solid
Calvin
pickup there.
Ridley had a decent game.
Yes, that's
I
yeah,
mean,
that was
stat
another
wise,
one.
not, but look who's throwing to him. Um,
Yes, and that's it again.
I
They have DeAndre Hopkins too, and like
yeah,
that's a place to die for receivers. Julio went there and hasn't heard anything since. Is he still in the Eagles?
no, he got cut after the season.
I wonder
Actually,
if he's.
he might have
I feel like
retired. Honestly,
I was they did. Yeah, I feel like he
yeah.
did. This is one of my first live Googles.
I'll move on while you're
Current
googling that.
team Eagles, interesting. But yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Bears
I
win
don't think he's on the
24-17 over
53
the
man
Titans.
roster. But
Interesting.
yeah. So yeah, final score there of 24-17. Moving on, next game, oof, the unexpected. I think it's safe to say this is the upset of the week.
Oh, 100%.
Um,
I would. I mean, Notre Dame is
no,
wild,
for
but
college football or
NFL,
for NFL,
yes.
yeah,
For NFL, yes,
yes,
100%.
yeah.
This was the least
Nobody,
expected.
yeah. The Patriots taking down the Bengals 16-10. Uh, I don't really have words for the Bengals. They just looked bad. Every aspect of the team looked bad. And the Patriots, to their credit, took advantage of it. Um, th- to score 16 points and win a game, I think tells you everything you need to know about that game. Um, I don't know. I took the I took the Bengals to win their division. I still think they can. Week one is not the end all be all. You shared a stat with me the other night that the Bengals are 1-5 underneath their current head coach Zach Taylor.
Are 1-4 with Joe Burrow week one. So Joe Burrow week
Oh, okay.
one is 1-4. The 1 year that they won the first game, they go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. But rebound, I guess. But I think they play the Chiefs this coming week. We'll get into updates later this week or previews
Still,
later this week.
they're at the Chiefs this
But
weekend.
yeah,
Yep.
so to start 0-2 is not a great look. Um,
I mean, you're talking Jamar Chase contract issues, and you got a lot of
yeah.
stuff going on over there right now.
So moving on, unless you have anything else to add to that.
No, yeah, that was pretty
Oh,
much it.
I
I think
think I think we would be remiss to not talk about Ramondre.
I
I
was
think is how
just
you
going to
say
say
it.
yes. Yeah,
Stevenson.
Ramondre Stevenson. Yep.
25 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown. That's a great first game.
I also
Fairly
think too
much carrying the
it's a
team.
little bit of the Belichick PTSD where I'm like, there's no way they have a number one running back. They're gonna do it by committee.
Yeah.
They're gonna throw it to a weird third string tight end. The kicker's gonna catch a pass. Belichick's got shit up his sleeve, and then I was like, that's right. This is all new. Like
Yeah.
this is all brand new. And I was like, they might be a one back kind of team.
Yeah.
All him running off. So yeah, I wasn't gonna touch on anything else. You covered it all. Ramondre Stevenson was the only one. And then Jamar Chase had post game press conference where they said, "Why did you only get 6 targets?" And he said, "Talk to Zach,"
Yeah.
referring to Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Never a good feel for a team 0-1. Like you said, looking at going 0-2 against the Chiefs on Thursday, like not a good vibe in Cincy right now. Everyone fighting over contracts. Burrow's got the Lance Bass, Justin Timberlake hair. Like there's just a lot going on there.
Yeah.
I think they pull it together a little bit, but if this drags on too long, it will be a little bit too late. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Moving on to, I would argue, the most fun game to watch this
yes,
weekend.
this was a good game.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Texans over Colts was 29-27 Texans. Texans did pull away as expected to get the win. Colts kept it a little closer than you would expect. Anthony Richardson had 9 completions,
Yeah.
2 of which were 50 yards or longer. One of which might have been some of like in a like a very hypothetical way, one of the greatest throws we've ever seen. Like gets bumped, slips, gets bumped by a lineman, and then just as quickly as possible just launches it.
Yeah.
And it goes 66.5 yards in an absolute dime to Pittman or Pierce, who
Yeah.
just catches it and
Pierce.
walks right into the end zone. It was Kevin and I, who is a Colts fan, were sitting there watching it, and I was like, "Did you just see that?" And he didn't in the live moment. And of course, they replayed it like 10
Yeah.
times, and I was like, dude, I had all the games on and I happened to glance up and I just saw him launch that ball and was like, no
It
fucking
was
way.
impressive.
And he just catches it in stride. So,
Yeah.
I think if Richardson gets going, the Colts could be good.
Stays healthy.
Um, the Texans defense worried me a little bit. Offense, I had no problems with. CZ Stroud, 234, 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon, 30 carries, 159 yards and a touchdown. Like their
Yeah.
offense was rolling. They got Tank
Yes.
Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs. Like their offense is moving. defense letting up 27 to the Colts, even with Anthony Richardson, makes me a little nervous. So we'll see how
Yeah.
the Colts hold it together, but I'm still high on the Texans.
Yeah, we'll see. I think if you're a Colts fan, you can't be too upset losing to the Texans. They give you a lot to look forward to this season. And I'm hopeful Anthony Richardson stays healthy and plays well because we all just want to see good games.
Yes, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I just want
Yeah.
everybody to play well. Yep.
Moving on, this might be the most dramatic game of the week in the Jaguars Dolphins.
Make
Dolphins
sure that
did
make sure the
pull it
Saints.
out. Yeah, the Dolphins did pull it out 20-17 over the Jaguars. Um, I think I think both teams have. It wasn't what both teams expected, and I think both teams are slightly disappointed. Is that safe to say?
Oh, 100%.
Um, Maybe it had to do with the pregame stuff. We'll get into that in our next episode
Yeah,
with
we'll
what
save
went on
that.
down there in Miami. We'll get the. We'll kind of. We're gonna wait, see what the
I'll
full
say, yeah,
report
kind of
is,
get some more
and
details
then
because
we'll
I
go.
just saw Drew Rosenhaus and the Dolphins have reached out to the police department. So yeah, we'll get some
Yeah,
more details on
yeah.
what
It's
happened
far
there.
from over, and we'll go from there. But yeah, that punch out on the 1 yard line.
Yes.
I mean, game saving, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
go you go from what would have been 24-3, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
24-3,
Yeah.
and then oh, by the way, they just took that fumble and dropped it to Tyreek
Greek
for
for
80
80
yards.
yards or whatever it
So,
was. Like, yeah, dude, the handcuff celebration there, that was
yeah,
wild.
yeah,
But yeah,
um,
so yeah, I couldn't agree more. The way you put it in the beginning was the best way you could have said it. Was neither one of those teams expected that to go that way. I think the Jags probably thought that they were going to lose, but in like a lesser fashion than that, or maybe sneak a win. The Dolphins
yeah,
probably thought they were going to run away with that game, and they were struggling for the first couple quarters, and then get it together late to kind of win, like you said, that last second fumble. But um, another game, there's not really too much to talk about here. I could talk
yeah,
about this one really under 30 seconds because we're trying to cut our time down. But Panthers 10, Saints 47. To
yeah,
be very clear, Saints are mediocre, which makes the Panthers like a middle school team. Again, I don't want anybody on the Panthers DMing me because they're gonna fight me and they're gonna win. But like their team, their owner, their GM, like it's all just such shit show there. It has been for now since Cam Newton left, like since 2014. Like
honestly,
we're
before
talking.
Cam Newton left,
Yeah, I mean they made
like,
that Super Bowl with Cam, but Cam basically did it by himself. And so
yeah,
like him and Steve Smith were just like, can we fucking please get there? And then they got whooped by the Broncos. So it's
yeah,
like that was clear what was going on. But truly, yeah, Panthers are struggling. They are the worst team in the NFL right now. They're arguing with the Giants for it, I would say, but I think the
for sure,
Panthers have like a clear cut win there. Um, Saints did look good. Their rookie receiver, Rashid Shaheed, he looked
yeah.
good. Kamara looks solid. Derek Carr talking a little bit of shit to some corners. I like to see that. I like to see a little thug in the
Swagger
quarterback.
back,
Yeah, a little
yeah,
bit of swag back for Derek Carr getting comfortable down there in New Orleans. Super Bowl is down there this year, so if they get their shit together and get hot and go on a run, I never put that past New Orleans. I don't think they're that kind of team this year, but
I don't either.
I mean, you just never know. That's yeah, that team down there is just there's always a hit or miss, and that's yes, that's kind of crazy. But they did put up 47. They were rolling. We'll see how they do against a real NFL team next week, and then kind of go from there on before we
Yeah,
start calling Saints Super Bowl hometown winners. So
for
I'll kick that
sure.
next one right over to you, unless you have anything else
Yeah.
to add on the Saints.
No, I think you
Really
wrapped
is
that up
nothing on the
really great.
Panthers.
It was, yeah, the Saints was everything they could do went right,
Yeah,
and it worked out well for them. So good props to them.
yeah. More praise
Moving
for them.
on, yeah, moving on. Again, this game doesn't have much to discuss in my opinion. Vikings 28, Giants 6. Um, the Giants are just so bad.
It's so bad to watch.
I think
Did you
as a
see?
person, you're happy to have Saquon out of there. Um, Even just as a
Yes, I'm
fan of
happy
the
for
game, right?
Saquon.
Like you're, yeah,
I'm
you're happy
happy
for
for
him. You're
Saquon.
happy for the league.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and
It's like getting
yeah,
Calvin Johnson out of Detroit. Not calling Saquon Calvin Johnson, but it was like, can we please get him to a real NFL team during
yes,
that time period? Like,
yes.
please. Yeah.
Nothing about Minnesota, in my opinion, looked particularly great.
No.
The Giants are just that bad. Um,
Yeah.
and that's really all there is
They're
to
like
it.
the Saints. I want to wait till next year before, but until next season or Jesus. till
next
next week
week.
before I give next week before I give like a real review of the Justin Jefferson, Sam Darnold, Aaron Jones three-headed monster. Like I want to see how they really prepare against a real team. But
Yeah.
did you see the post game Daniel Jones walkout? There's a
No, I
video.
did not.
There's a video floating around. You have to check out. Anybody else who's listening, definitely check it out. Type go onto Twitter. Type in Daniel Jones exiting stadium. A bunch of Giants fans hung out hours after the game ended just to heckle and boo and declare money. They're just recording videos, going, "Send me a millie, Danny.
Yeah, he's
Danny, I need
robbing
that
the
millie back."
Giants, right?
He's robbing the Giants. The
Yeah.
fans are calling for the money back.
Yeah,
So
the stat
yeah,
that I saw today that since signing his contract, he has thrown more touchdowns to opposing teams than his own.
that is. I mean, if I'm him
Ah,
though too, and I know I'm a mediocre ass quarterback, and I got however many, like 100 million, like
140
I'm
million.
cooling, I'm
Yeah.
cooling, I'm chilling. Like, what do
Yeah.
I got to lose? I don't care. Boo all you want. I'm going home with my Ferrari and my supermodel and
Yeah,
my
look.
mansion. Have a great day. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a big city. It's a lot of pressure. So,
But yeah,
moving
and then
on. I'll let
rolling
you
right
take
in
this
then.
with your division.
Yeah, that's true. This is over there. I'll tell you. I guess I'll roll. I'll double up because then the next one is NFC
Okay.
East for you.
I'm with it.
But yeah, so first one here we got Raiders Chargers, an interdivision rivalry here. Chargers look good. Harbaugh's first game, they look solid. Herbert looked good. Lad McConkey got a touchdown. Yeah, the Chargers look clean. It was a little slow at first, but then they got it together in the second half. Raiders, I expected to be a little bit more put together. I feel like they were kind of rough. I mean,
Okay.
Gardner's their starting quarterback, so like that's like I feel like he is a career backup. So when he's starting, it just puts him in a weird spot.
Yeah.
Like you're the Josh McCown, Ryan Fitzpatrick esque players of the league. Like
Yeah.
he's fun as hell. I love the mustache. I love the broken hammer hand from college. Like, oh, I'm a Gardner fan. But yeah, the Chargers look good though. I don't think that they make a run in the West. Of course, I think the Chiefs still are clear cut favorites. I think that. See, I
I
honestly though, I don't know who second, third, fourth is. It could go any way, but I think the Chiefs are the clear cut number
I
one.
will mention if there's something the Chiefs struggle with, it is a team that runs the football well and keeps
That's
the
true.
Chiefs offense on the sideline.
That's true.
And that is what Jim Harbaugh has built and will continue to build.
Yep.
Everywhere he's
They
gone,
got
he's done it. I can't imagine anything's going to be different.
they got both of the Ravens running backs from his brother. They got
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins and Chase Edwards. Like they're about to do the same. Or is it Chase Edwards or did I mix that
Is
up?
it Gus Edwards?
Gus Edwards. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Chase Edmonds is on the Bucks. That's what
Yeah.
I mixed up with. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gus Edwards. You're
So
right.
I
Yeah.
think if there's going to be a surprise this year, it's going to be the Chargers. And I wouldn't be surprised if they win a lot of games by just running it down people's throats.
That's true. Yeah. That's
It's
yeah.
what he did at Stanford. It's what he did when he went
The
to the
49ers.
49ers. He
Yep.
then went to Michigan, did the same thing there, and now
Built
he's
a whole program around it. Made
yeah,
Blake Corum get drafted. Like,
yeah,
yeah, he built a program around running the
yeah,
football and hard nosed defense. But
yeah.
yeah, so in the AFC West though, yeah, the Chargers are 1-0, Raiders are 0-1, Chiefs are 1-0, and then we jump right on down to the Broncos. We had two safeties in this game, which is wild. The scores were all over the goddamn place. It was 5-3, 8-3, 9-8, 12-8,
Yeah,
12-15.
who had the
It was
quarters board on that one?
yeah, it was that would have been one where I would have bet my money, been pissed that I had a two, and then been like, well, hold on, wait a minute. Did
You're
find out
saying there's a chance.
I Googled it. Most safeties in a game is three. I
Okay,
thought for sure it would have been two, and we would have tied like 100 other teams that did it, but it's three, so we tied like 100 other teams that have done it twice. But yeah,
gotcha.
Broncos got two safeties. Our defense looked good. Bo Nix looked all right. His one scramble for the touchdown wasn't as pretty. I mean, if I didn't love it, but he got into the end zone, so we'll take the touchdown. The Seahawks looked okay. Like they looked good. They looked how they expected to look. Kenneth Walker tore our ass up though. 20 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown. Tyler Lockett playing injured, 6 receptions and 77 yards, including a game clinching first down on third and like 11 or some shit. So
God.
so like we were at a position where we were down. Seahawks had the ball, they were driving, and I was like, just score, like put me out of my misery. And our defense shows up tight in a clutch situation. We get the ball back and we're driving, and then he throws a pick. And so it was just like we had a chance. And so like that
Yeah.
almost hurts more. But like now I know like we're kind of okay. We might be
Right.
all right, but
I
it's
would have
and
liked to. I would have liked to see him get the ball back at the end.
yeah,
Tyler
that's
Lockett
yeah,
doesn't
like
make that
yeah.
catch.
Yes, that's I really wanted to see
Give it a
that. See
chance and
Bo
see what
Nix in like a
happens.
2 minute drill, like give him a chance and see what happens. But yeah, not even getting the ball back kind of sucked a little bit. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, I'm not miserable at it. I'm honestly after taking like the last 2 years off of football, I'm just excited to be back. So the
rightfully
Broncos are
so.
terrible this year. I'll deal with it.
Fair enough.
I'll hand that next one right over your
Yeah, I'll
way.
take the next two going NFC East games. Not. I don't think it was a huge surprise. The Cowboys, 33, Browns 17. Um, the Cowboys, to their credit, did look good. The Browns defense is no joke, and they hung 33 on them. Dak Prescott signs a monster contract right before the game. Um,
Texas money.
yeah, Texas money's
Hey,
right.
yeehaw.
Yeah, and I don't. There's nothing particularly special about the Cowboys. They played a great team game. The Browns, mediocre Browns, I think is not surprising to anybody. Um, you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, yeah, that was I expected. I was interesting to see how Dak played as well as CeeDee Lamb after signing contracts. And again, like
Yeah,
the Bengals, all this contract, it's shit going on. Like that always is just like not a good look for teams. Like you never know how that's gonna play out. And
yeah.
Dak came out and balled out, did his thing. Browns looked sloppier than I thought. I hate that I love him, but like give me fucking Jameis Winston all day, every day. Like, steal me some
Oh,
crab
crab
legs and
legs.
put that man in the game. Like,
Yeah,
I just want to see Jameis play. And Deshaun is a fucking rapist. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but like, all the reports are leaning that way. And so, like, why
yeah.
are we even entertaining this? He overthrew so many balls, so many things out of bounds.
It
Like,
was
he
bad
looked
football.
rough.
Yeah,
Like, and that's like, there was the he tried to pick up Joel Batonio and he slapped his hand away. Like, things like that matter. Like
yeah.
the cameras picked it up. That shit's real. They're grown ass men to have that kind of animosity
In week
towards
one.
someone else in week one. Like
Yeah,
the Browns are not high on Deshaun. I give it like 3 or 4 weeks, and I think that's only if
I.
Stefanski wants to like really hold out and
Yeah,
hold his ground and be like, no, this is what I said I was gonna do. But like,
yeah,
give it up, bench him, put Jameis in, try to trade, get Flacco, do something. Like,
yeah.
it's not it.
I
But
agree
yeah,
with
other
you.
than
Not
that
it.
though, that's yeah. I had Amari Cooper in fantasy. He dropped a wide open touchdown that Deshaun actually threw well,
Yeah.
hit him in the hands. And as my dad told me, and I tell my kids, if you can touch it, you can catch it. And Amari dropped it. Should have caught it, but yeah, Cowboys
Yeah.
up 33-17 over a rough looking Browns debut.
Yeah. Moving on to staying in the NFC East, though, the Commanders dropping a game to the Buccaneers. Buccaneers 37, Commanders 20. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game, but looking at the stat line, Baker Mayfield had 4 touchdowns. I mean, Jaden Daniels, 2 touchdowns, 16 carries, 88 yards. So, uh, a threat to run the ball.
Yes,
I think you're excited for that if you see that as a Commanders fan. Um, Baker
that's one of those
doing
football fan
Baker
ones.
things.
Yep.
Um, I don't. It with Jaden Daniels, with any running quarterback, it comes down to staying healthy. So best of luck to him in that endeavor. Except when he plays the Eagles, and I by no means mean that I want him to get injured when he plays the Eagles. I
But
just don't
like
want him
play
to play
poorly.
well when he plays the Eagles. So, um, but it sounds like Baker had a hell of a game. Um, Chris
I believe
Godwin,
Mike
8
Evans had.
receptions.
I think Mike Evans had two of those touchdowns, and that was another where everyone was like, "This is Mike Evans." If I'm correct, has the most consecutive 1,000 yard receiving seasons,
Okay,
and it's like he's smashing the record. He's had like 8 or 9 in a row, which like has not been done for a long time.
yeah,
If I remember that correctly, and this was
good for
one where
him.
I was like, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do it again. And then he comes out and gets 2 touchdowns week one. Baker's got 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, and I was like,
Yeah,
damn, the Bucks offense might still be there. But
yeah,
yeah, Jaden Daniels, like you said, if he stays healthy, I think that the Commanders are in a good spot. The Redskins are in a good spot. He
you had it
ESPN,
right.
yeah,
Commanders.
ESPN, you can't trick me. Um, I think that yeah, I saw his face more than I would have liked to this week. His helmet got popped off literally like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
So things like that where it's like you can't be taking those hits. Like you're young, you think you're fucking can handle it, but like
Yeah.
you wait till a Micah Parsons or a Darius Slay comes running full speed and catches you on
It's
like a
a
like it's
big play Slay.
you get caught on one of those hits, like you're gonna remember that. Like you
Yeah.
get dragged down weird by Chris Jones on a scramble, like you're gonna remember those
Uh-huh.
hits. So like
So,
I think he
see how
played
he
a little
does.
too fluid, but yeah, I mean it looked good. I'm excited for him to play. I want good people in the league, and I think he's one of them.
Yeah. Go ahead, roll into Sunday night football.
Cool. Sunday night we recorded episode two, take two. Episode one, take two. We tried to. We recorded basically what we did for our pilot episode during this game. We said let's not do a live episode. Let's record. Let's talk about the game. Lions Rams. Lions won 26-20 in overtime. I am not still sure how I feel about the overtime rules. Like with both teams should get the ball or sudden death. We grew up on sudden death. Overtime is if you touch the ball and you kick a field goal, the game's over. If you
Yeah.
spit into the end zone, the game's over. You win. You got closer. Period. Then came the Bills and the Chiefs a few years ago, multiple years in a row, where a coin toss goes in favor of the Chiefs. Patty drives down, scores, game over. So
Yeah.
now the playoffs have that set up where they get to both have the ball or whatever, but the regular season does not. So opening week one, Sunday night football, we get Rams Lions dogging it out. It was a great game. Stafford slinging it in Detroit. Goff is slinging it. David Montgomery is running his ass off. Solid game. And then we get to overtime. Lions get the ball, drive right down, and score. Game over. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was an interesting game, but yeah, it was a good game. That's it. It was a solid.
Was
Like
a
I said,
good game.
we were recording our podcast, but we finished it just in time to be able to kind of finish it up and watch the last couple of minutes. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still high on the Lions for this year. I think they might lose a couple games early that they shouldn't, but I think they get their shit together. Campbell shoves an extra big bag in his ears and fucking charges through and gets the team ready to go.
Right on. Yeah, I think if you're the Rams, you're okay with how the game went,
Yeah.
with the exception of Puka Nacua. Um, I guess I don't recall exactly what happened to him, but I guess he's going to be out for a little bit. So, speedy recovery to that man, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Well,
I saw that he did get placed on the injured reserve, so
oh,
he'll be
that's
out
right.
for a
Yeah,
minimum of 4 weeks.
yeah,
I believe I want to say his was an MCL as well, so it's just like Jordan Love's. So it's not super detrimental, but it is going to take a couple weeks to heal. They got to let that tendon get right so that it doesn't tear. They don't have to repair. They don't have to do surgeries. They just got to kind of
right
chill
on.
and let shit heal up.
Right on. Moving into Monday night's game, 49ers. I guess they kind of whooped up on the Jets a little bit. 49ers 32, Jets 19. Um, Storyline for me coming out of this, two things. One, Aaron Rodgers stayed healthy, although he left the game early. So they were getting whooped, so I think it was probably just, hey, let's be safe on this one.
Yeah.
And then the second storyline is this Mason guy, this running back, I guess backup running back for the 49ers. CMC was out last minute. I can only assume screwing so many fantasy owners. Um, and yes, Dame put quotes around the last minute because in his post game interview, Mason slipped that he knew he was going to be playing Friday.
Yeah, it's going to
And
leave some fines for some people.
yeah, so the NFL is not going to be too happy about that. Um, so we'll look forward to seeing what comes from the NFL on that one and
Yeah.
having
Yeah,
enough
that's yeah.
bad.
Christian McCaffrey not even on the injury report all weekend long. No expectation, no indication of any kind of injuries. And then moments before the game, hey, by the way, C Mac's not playing. And I joked earlier and I said you can literally just Google CMC and it's like Christian McCaffrey not playing tonight. Like that's all it takes. And they're just like,
Yeah,
we know what you mean if you type CMC. Like, yeah, so it's crazy. He wasn't playing the Jets. Looked a little rough.
they look
It's
good to
good to see.
start.
It was good to see
Yeah,
Aaron at least play. Reese looks good. Garrett caught a couple balls that should not have been caught. So like that was super
yeah,
cool to see. Like it's exciting to see him as a young receiver. Like if he can actually mesh and gel this year, Aaron stays healthy. Like they could be good, but like I think they're gonna be scratching on a wild card at best. Like I don't think they're creeping in their division. I don't think that they're a 5 seed. Like I think that they are barely scratching that 7 seed, if anything, and, like, that's as good
Yeah.
as it gets.
Yeah, that's
So,
fair. I don't know. We'll see what the Jets do. I think the Jets have to come out of this fairly happy. I know they got stomped, but they did look
yeah.
decent. The 49ers are just a good football team.
Yeah.
I
And I think CMC being out was kind of a trap where you think like, oh,
yeah.
he's out, we're gonna dominate. And it's like they still have Trent Williams on the left side of their
Yeah.
line, murdering people
Yeah.
to get any. I could run for 100 yards behind Trent Williams. Like I'm comfortable pushing that limit where like I'm gonna get hit, but like Trent's in front of me, so like I'm
Yeah.
good. So
Yeah. I
yeah, I'm excited to see both these teams kind of throughout the season, see if the 49ers fall apart and to see if the Jets kind of get their shit together.
yes, I'll agree. Anything else to add to football recap?
I don't think so. That's about all for
I
me.
agree. Moving
One other
on.
thing.
Oh, go ahead.
You wanted to no, you wanted to go ahead and recap your, I believe, some NASCAR from the
Yeah.
weekend.
So NASCAR kicked off playoffs this weekend in Atlanta,
The
a
Mofos.
semi-drafting track. It was fun to watch. I did enjoy it. That's why I did not watch every football game because I was watching NASCAR. So
Happens. I'll take care of the
sorry,
football. I got
guys.
Sunday ticket.
I
I got
had
multiple
I
screens.
had
We're
Red Zone
good.
on my phone, so I was kind of paying attention. Joey Logano, pushed by his teammate Ryan Blaney, again is my favorite driver for the win. Um, Late race caution because a Walmart sign fell off of the wall and landed on the track. So yeah, NASCAR didn't look too great there, but
You just reminded me that the Walmart family bought the Broncos, and we're just the
they
Walmart
did,
team in
yeah,
the NFL. I forget that all the time, and it's so disappointing. We are just the corporate jackasses of the NFL.
yeah, the Waltons, right?
Yep, that's right.
So Joey Logano advances to the next round of the playoffs. Next week coming up is actually out our way, Watkins Glen, New York. Um,
Hmm, that's why
so
I was
a
up there.
road, yeah, a road course, beautiful area. If you ever get the chance to visit, I highly recommend it. We'll see what happens. Kind of three wild card tracks this round. So um, that is all I have for this morning. Do you have anything else to add?
I don't. Let's see. We had a little bit of UFC this past weekend.
Okay.
Only thing I really want to touch on was Sean Brady beating Gilbert Burns by decision. That was the only one I really caught. I streamed it late because we were dealing with some other stuff and getting ready for Sunday. But I was finishing watching college football, and so yeah, that was just the one I wanted to catch a little bit of, and that was a solid fight. I don't want to touch on next weekend too much. We're gonna save that for our Wednesday morning show, but stay tuned because Sean O'Malley is fighting this Saturday, so that's gonna be a solid fight. Um, but yeah, we ran a little over. We definitely thought we were going to, though. We knew we had a lot to recap this weekend with college football and the NFL and everything. But again, we appreciate you guys. This AJ and I. This is not
Yes.
something we. This isn't something we could say we've been dreaming of our whole life. But like we threw it
Certainly
together
not.
last minute. Yeah, it's just something that we do if we were playing Xbox or bullshitting on the phone or whatever. Our conversations now at this point in life are pretty much Snapchatting each other videos of our children and me adoring over how adorable his daughter is and him laughing over how insane my boys are and like that's pretty much the capacity of our lives at this point. And so
Yeah.
as soon as we had an opportunity to do something like this and just kind of sit and kind of bullshit and talk some sports, it was like that's a no brainer. Let's at least do it, see how it goes, and see where it goes. But yeah, I mean,
Fair
it's so
enough.
far we've fumbled a couple of starts, had a couple of technical issues.
Yep.
Our buddy
I'm hopeful
Brad
with
had a
this
little.
episode. One take. One
Yes,
take.
that's yeah. Brad swore he wasn't letting anything else slip. He was going to keep us in check, and he did tonight.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, we recorded both episodes here tonight, September 9th into the
Into
10th.
10th. Yeah.
We did our pilot episode to get it done and out of the way, and then we pre-recorded our Monday morning episode or our Tuesday morning
Tuesday.
episode, excuse me. So yeah, this Tuesday morning episode you'll hear, I believe, is typically what you'll hear on a Monday morning to recap the weekend.
Yep.
Monday night games. AJ's got some darts leagues going on, but we'll do something to kind of touch base on the Monday night games, and then Wednesday and probably a Friday morning show to kind of go from there. But catch us definitely at this point. It's Monday night right now. You're listening to this Monday morning, heading or Tuesday morning. I'm so sorry, Tuesday morning. At this point, look forward to us either being back on the air Wednesday morning or I would say Thursday night for the live stream of the
Yeah.
Bills and the Dolphins.
I'm hopeful to get on Wednesday morning, do a little
Yeah,
preview of the week and
yeah,
what's
for
to
sure.
come.
Yeah, and as a touch on everything that's not NFL for the weekend and kind of
Yeah.
UFC fights, NASCAR, other things that are coming up, and then use
Yeah.
that Thursday night slot to kind of really tackle into some football. We're gonna do our MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. We'll do all of that Thursday night as well. So,
Very nice.
anybody that tuned in last Thursday, anybody that's tuning in here this morning, we appreciate you. We would love for you to jump back in tomorrow morning as well as Thursday night. All the comments and reactions and jumping in, talking shit, bringing up stuff. It's the best. That's all we can
Yes.
ask for. So yeah, we appreciate you.
Echoing that, I appreciate you guys, and I'll leave you with my fun fact of the day. Ohio is the only state that does not share a letter with the word mackerel.
I also want to be clear. I never know these facts ahead of time either. I'm going to let AJ surprise me with them too, so that you get to see my genuine reaction. It's the only state. You say it's the only state
The only state that does not
doesn't
share a
share
letter
a
with the
letter.
word mackerel.
Mackerel. Is that Mackerel?
Correct.
M-A. Shout out Lane Miller. Whooped your ass in the fourth grade spelling bee. Spelled
Oof.
Connor Gwynett right for the win. Was spelling king. Mackerel. So Ohio is the only one that's mackerel.
It
I have to
doesn't
throw
share a
in
letter with that.
I have to throw in my only state facts that I might know is that Tennessee and Kentucky are the only two that border like 7 or 8 states, and they border each other. Like they border the most states, and it's like 7 or 8. I can't remember which one, but they also border each other. Like they have like that weird shape and that long kind of
Yeah.
horizontal flat, so they hit a ton of other states. But
Okay. Very
yeah, I
good.
like that though. Ohio and mackerel. I love
All
it.
right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate you
Thank
all.
you guys. Appreciate you. Have a good rest of your morning. Enjoy the rest of your week.